Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So tonight, Sagittarius, we have the Two of Discs, or Pinnacles, or Panacles, or Coins, or whatever you like to call it. I like to call it discs, only because I often use the Thoth system. So, this is all about change, right? I also love this card, and I especially love this iteration, I guess this beautiful, it is Ouroboros, right? You can see the snake biting its own tail, swallowing its own tail, also wearing the crown. But also we have all four elements here and all in balance. Not only that, have you ever heard the phrase, as above, so below? So within, so without. And what does that mean? If you think of it as the macro being like the cosmos, and the micro being, well, down to the particles and, atoms and all those little tiny, I don't even know what they're called. They get smaller and smaller and smaller, right? All of these things in different combination, right? Creating something more on each level. But they're all intertwined. And what we see on the macro, what we experience on the macro is very much like what we experience in the micro, right? They are mirrored. Now, a great example, you've probably seen pictures like this before. Like a tree, right? The tree, no leaves, it's the middle of winter, you can see all the branches. The root system, it mirrors the tree branches that we see, but also looks very much like what? A nervous system. It looks like systems of water, channels of water. So many different things, right? So, everything is everything. Everything is everything. And that's what this card it reminds me. When I see the Two of Discs, I think, okay, it's all good. Things are shifting, but we are getting them in alignment, right? Because nothing can stay the same forever. We do not live in a fixed state. Like everything's just crystallized and glacial and never moving. No, that's not how it works. So we're in for some change, but it's for the best because we're getting to a place where we're taking the knowledge, the skills, the many gifts you've received from the universe and transmuting them into wisdom, into mastery. Okay? Now, let's go ahead. We're going to lift this up. We're going to take a look. We're going to see what these tea leaves want to show us. And I want to thank you so much for deciding to click on this reading. Some of you have never seen a tea leaf reading. You might not even know what the heck it is. And I thank you for being brave. Now, if you are returning to the channel, welcome back. Welcome back. It's nice to see you. Nice to have you back here. So basically, we just look for formations that show up in these teacups, or these are actually bowls. And I've decided to use bowls because they're more flat, right? It's easier to see the space. When we use a regular teacup, it's very difficult to get it to kind of focus and look like anything on camera. So I have started using these, well, I did a few years ago now. And let's see, let's start here. So we have two people. We have one here, and you can see we have, it almost looks like a little dress. You could see the little flowers kind of printed on the dress here. Now, these would be the legs down here. The head is up in this area, right? And it looks like an arm raised, kind of pointing this way. Okay, now it does look like we have another person over here. Here's the head, here's kind of the body, and maybe one child in the middle. Now we have a feminine and masculine energy here, balanced, not unlike the Two of Discs card, but also very much like the Lovers. Okay, so I do feel like there is a real big emphasis on the family unit. Okay, now this might be your parents and you're the child, or maybe you're one of these parents and you have the child, or your child is grown up, or maybe this was like, you know, your dream. Find somebody, have a love story, create life together, you know, and raise the family and hope for the best, right? And hope it all works out. But I do feel like this has always kind of been your goal, right? To have that family unit. And it does feel like there is some change happening here. We have two people. One up here is riding on a horse. You can see the person here. You can see the horse. It looks like they're holding the person. Here's the head. Now their arm is kind of out this way, and it looks like they're holding a bird, like a falcon or a hawk or something like this. Now we have another person over here. Actually looks like a face too. You could see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and here's the whole head. But it also looks like a person, like wearing maybe a robe. Here's the head up here. Arm kind of, it looks like holding, it almost looks like a blanket folded up or something right here. And we have another bird perched. So we also have a person down here who's on a horse again. You can see the horse. Here's the back of it, the tail, and this would be the person. So a person on a horse tells me that there has been the intention or the idea to, well, kind of move on, right? To leave your situation, maybe leave your job, maybe you want to move somewhere, maybe you are thinking about ending your relationship, you know, whatever it is. It could be something else, you know, we are talking about change. But the thing about the person getting on the horse is that this is a very intentional move. This is planned. This has been weighed and, you know, all the options looked at and planned. Okay, this isn't just like, you know, all of a sudden I just decide to get up out of here, you know? No, this is something that you have thought through. You have decided wholeheartedly, right? And so I feel like at this stage, there's almost, it seems like a conflict in, oh boy. I almost wonder if this is like a divorce situation or preparing for a child custody kind of battle. That's the kind of resentment, and it just feels like a knot, right? Like it's just a knot. Have you ever had like a drawer where you threw necklaces? I know, I cringe thinking about it. But you just throw them in there and they all slowly get tangled up. And then you have this like ball of chains little metal chains that are all tied in together. And for the life of you, it's like, how do I even begin to undo this? Right? I know that I should have been working on this from the beginning, finding another way to hang them up or keep them separated or whatever. But you know what? Sometimes it happens. If you went to go look at my closet, you would see a huge ball of hangers. And every time I say I'm going to put them on the hanger holder, and I don't. I just put them in a pile, in a box, and they turn into a knot. So I feel like in this situation, it's kind of like, yeah, you are part of the problem, but you also are part of, the reasons that you have been together. Why, you chose to create a family, to live this life alongside somebody else or somebody else's, right? But now it feels like it's time, right? And I feel like for you, it just keeps kind of playing in this direction. And that's why we have the falcons, because I feel like now the falcons, hawks, falcons, eagles, they all represent these really high flying birds, right? They're flying over the top of everything. They have this very open and vast perception, right? They get to see things differently than most of us. They see much more of what's going on, right? And so I feel like it's like two people who are both trying to get information on each other. And that's why I kind of feel like this is almost like a divorce, because yeah, maybe you are actually documenting things about one another to help your case in the future. And I think for you, this feels very toxic. Now, it might feel pretty empowering because you're taking your own life into your, into your hand. Well, that's not the right way to say that. Let me back up. That's not what I mean. Because that could mean that you're in trouble, right? No, you are taking control in your own life, right? And you're being proactive about trying to get the best outcome for you, okay? And so that's good, right? Sometimes, Sagittarius, I worry about you because you all, as strong, smart, capable, wonderful as you are, sometimes you don't prioritize your own well-being, especially in relation to other people. And what does that mean? It means you give a lot of yourself to people who sometimes are just poo-poo people, right? Or people who just like literally are out to get you, take advantage of you, and it's within your nature to want to take care of those who are in need, of those you care about, that you love. And sometimes that puts you in a situation that we don't want to see you in, right? And you don't want to be in. So this is important. You walking away from somebody. And no, it doesn't have to be marriage. It doesn't have to be even that you're in a romantic relationship. Maybe this is like your mom, who you have been trying to get up the courage to go no contact from for the last 50 years. And now finally you're in the place where you're like, okay, lady, I'm done. I'm finished with this. Whoever it is, I don't think it's going to be an easy departure, but I do think it will be successful because everything will work out. I know that. I might not know a lot, but I know that it's going to work out. Now, we do have, it looks like a large rabbit, but also a swan. Almost less like a real rabbit and more like a peep or something, right? Excuse me. I'm still a little sick over here. One of those candies for Easter, they're like, they're like marshmallow with all the sugar stuff on the outside. And they're always like pink or bright green or whatever. And you can see that right here. And you can see the eyes. But you can also see the body of the swan, the wings up here, and then the head, the neck and the head. So, I feel like you're going into an era of your life where it's kind of like a look, don't touch kind of situation. And I don't mean like literally, although possibly that as well, right? But I feel like it's kind of like almost you going into your own like hermit mode for a while as you are going through this separation, this change, this walking away from toxic things. And you're putting all of your resources into yourself, which you should, right? You are finally prioritizing your own well-being and the things that you have been putting off. I almost imagine it's like, you know, being married to somebody who maybe doesn't tell you can't do this or this or this or this, but because of the way things had kind of become, right? You feel bad about doing things for yourself, having time for yourself, sitting down on the couch and watching TV, you know, worried that somebody's going to have a fit about it, or, you know, not spending the money once in a while to go, you know, get your hair done or get the car detailed, or, you know, whatever. These little treats you might have for yourself that are also really about taking care of yourself and your things. It's not just, you know, I'm going to go to the casino and spend $10,000 and see what happens, right? No. These are things that they make sense. There's a practical application for them in the real world. And yet you've been in this situation where you've been made to feel guilty for doing the things that you want to do. We'll know more. Now, we have the number 6. We also have a turtle. We have a little tree. So the turtle is all about baby steps, taking things slow. We also have the number 277, 277. And maybe the name Emily or Emma, maybe. So we're going slow. But I do feel like, well, and you know what? I'm just going to go off of a comment I got today, actually. Somebody commented on one of my readings about, this is a piece of the family tree, the root, right? A piece of the root taken from the family tree, taken with, and planted, or, you know, maybe you put it in water so it can start to root further. But taking that piece with you to begin something new. And that feeling, I mean, I've never heard anybody say that, you know, like that particular, taking it and replanting it and starting a new family tree. But it's still from the original family tree. That's a beautiful, beautiful way to look at breaking cycles of abuse, mistreatment, being brave enough to not stay in a relationship or a dynamic that does not serve you well, right? And knowing sometimes yeah, we have to go out into the world and begin again. Sometimes we have to leave all of that behind. And that's a terrible feeling. I know it. I myself, I don't talk to my original family, my blood family. A couple people. Okay, a couple people from my family. But mostly no. So I understand fully what it is to pick up and walk away because you have to. Not because you want to necessarily, not because, somebody is forcing you to, but sometimes you just know this is not it for me. Not anymore. And so I see you really taking your time with this, but reestablishing the life that you know that you want to live. Beginning the path towards that place. All right, let's do our lucky numbers. 73. Oh yeah, 73. 64. And I've had people ask, why do you do the numbers? 73, 64. Yeah, because people want lucky numbers, and I would get lots of comments like, what can you give us some lucky numbers? So I just decided to start doing them in all the readings. 85. All right. What else do we have? Oh, our self-care affirmation cards. And I'm just going to flip through, stop where it feels right. Excuse me. Wild pasture. I give myself permission to relax. Becoming my highest self requires planning, time. Excuse me. Becoming my highest self requires planning time to rejuvenate. I am a wild pasture that grows and draws nutrients without toil. Ooh, that's a nice thought, right? I'm a wild pasture that grows and draws nutrients without toil. Ooh, yeah, that's strong. I like that. All right, Sagittarius. I love you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. Also, if you want to subscribe or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, I think that's it. I don't know. I've been asking for recommendations for shows to watch. I just finished The Sopranos, and now I don't know what to watch. I have some things queued up, but nothing seems right. I've been trying to get back into Severance, not my favorite. I think it's just because it's like the middle of winter here. It's so bleak outside. And the show, it's like very Cold War looking aesthetic, and that like kind of liminal space and stuff. I don't know, man. I like the story, but the visuals really get to me after a while. So I don't know. If you have anything else though that you think is good, that you like, that you've really liked watching, shout it out in the comments. Other than that, again, I just want to say I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.